Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. Let's take a look at a video.
Did you guys see that video floating around of the original version of the Bible from 1775?
So a 1775 edition of the King James Version of the Bible is not in any way, shape, or form whatsoever the original version of the Bible. But there are a couple of these videos, and here's what they're saying.
At some point, a human being decides that you're not smart enough to know the truth. Oh my goodness! This tells us the proper table of time! The first month of the year is March. The first month, look at there, table of time. Look at all the way to the end, guys. There's 13 months. 13 months. The new year is March.
So you have discovered the Jewish calendar, which has never been hidden from you by anyone at all. Most people who grow up around Jewish people or have Jewish friends or talk with Jewish people or care what Jewish people are doing or saying learn about this in childhood or at least much earlier in adulthood. And most Bibles that are published today will have this calendar within them. Now, there are a couple things to note about the calendar as presented here. First, this is presenting the ecclesiastical or the biblical order of the months because it starts in Nisan, which is in the spring, March or April. When you hear people talking about the Jewish New Year today, that's usually early September. That's because they're following the civil arrangement, which just begins the new year with Tishrei. Second thing to note is that 13th month. You'll notice that in italics right after the name of the month, which is not Vader, by the way, but Ve'adar, it says intercalary. What that means is that this is something that is inserted into the calendar every now and then to bring the calendar back in alignment with the solar year, which is 365.25 days. But if you have 12 months of 29 or 30 days each, as the Jewish calendar does, your year is only 354 days long. And so every 2 or 3 years, you need to add an extra month in there, which is known as second Adar or Adar Bet, or in this version, Ve'adar, to bring you back into alignment. It's very similar to our leap year, which adds a day every 4 years to account for those 0.25 days of the solar year.
But what struck me the most interesting about the original Bible is that it has 13 months, not 12. You know, they're always trying to throw off our energies, so that makes a lot of sense.
So you are misunderstanding both the nature of the Jewish calendar and why you were never aware of it.
According to the Bible from 1775, April 1st is actually the date Jesus was born, which that also makes a lot of sense.
So that Bible doesn't say any such thing whatsoever. I think you are confusing the commentary from that creator for what that Bible is actually saying, but let's see what that creator has said.
Funny, I heard someone saying that Jesus, the reason why the 3 wise men in the time of the year where this was going on, where they would be doing these things, it's only in the spring because sheep can only birth in the spring. I didn't know that, but they can only give birth in the spring. So, in the manger, it was spring, it was April. It was March and April was when Jesus was born.
So not only is that fact not true, but when sheep give birth has absolutely no relevance whatsoever to when Jesus was born.
Everything in the spring, it grows. Why would the beginning of the year be in January? Like, logically thinking, why would that be right? It's not.
Romans moved the new year from the beginning of March to the beginning of January, sometime around the beginning of the Roman Republic, and there are a number of theories for how and why this happened, but nobody knows for sure.
We've just been so indoctrinated into believing all these things that we can't think logically for ourselves. It's almost so easy that how could we miss that?
Why think logically for yourself when you can just promote an asinine conspiracy theory?
And the entire world celebrates Jesus' birthday on December 25th.
No, it doesn't.
13 astrology signs and 28 days in a women's cycle. I could go on. We've been lied to our entire lives. There's tons of proof of it, and I'm so glad we're all waking up.
Let's go see if that other creator has anything more constructive to add.
And this is the other truth that I've heard now. We are living in sin by going to church on Sunday. Okay? Sunday is the first day of the week. Sunday's the first day of the week. The Sabbath is Saturday. Days of the week. First day of the week, Sunday. Second day, Monday. Look at that. Seventh day or Sabbath, Saturday. Can you believe this?
If you go look at any calendar published in the United States or in several other countries, Sunday is always on the far left, because Sunday has always been the first day of the week. Even if you go look in the Bible, in John chapter 20, verse 1, Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb on the first day of the week, which is Sunday. Now, Christians in the first century shifted the celebration of the Sabbath from Saturday, which is when it is observed within Judaism, to Sunday, which is when it has always been observed within Christianity, to honor the day of the resurrection. And if you learn another language or travel outside the United States, you might have come across something that acknowledges this, such as within Spanish, sábado is Saturday, and that comes from the word for Sabbath. Sunday is domingo, which comes from the word for Lord. In Greek, Sunday has always been Kyriaki, which is the Lord's Day. Sunday has always been the first day of the week within the United States and many other countries. And if you are just now learning that as a full-grown adult, it's not a conspiracy. It's just that you've never paid attention.